and you can quote this on me. There is no way the Orioles or Red Sox make the playoffs this season. Yeah, yeah. There's no way. There's no way.
I set the bar really low at the NBA predictions.
I don't think all Mavs fans look into the stats like I do.
It's not the great value Target brand toilet paper or whatever. It's the Charmin Ultra Strong.
I don't know if Nick Nurse is the coach for the Raptors. I don't know if he's the reason why they won the 2019 championship. I feel like that was more of a team effort.
The Mavs cannot say we do not miss Seth Curry shooting threes.
This questions the firing of Dwayne Casey, who I think is a very underrated coach.
To me, the Capitals really pushed all their chips for this season.
Hello, I'm Mike Grimes, and you've been listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB Opinions of the Week. Again, we're talking about Juan Soto. If you listen to our NBA episode, we kind of came up with this video during that video, because Juan Soto is a big discussion of people are like, they shouldn't trade for him. A lot of people are saying, like, they said Juan Soto's amazing, but to give up so much to get him, they're against it. And then Austin, you said you would do it for the Yankees, even if it included a lot of your top prospects.
Yeah, now not everybody. I'm not giving up the entire system, but I am okay with trading away some major pieces to make a move, and I think the Yankees should.
I think it would be most of the system. Like you'd give up a considerable amount, but
You can't give up too much though, because here's the problem with doing that. And from what I've heard, they're asking 125% of Soto's value, which is already a lot. And if I'm giving you 6 guys that could all be all-stars in the future, because the Yankees have a good system. That's just too much. It is. Like, I'm giving you 6 potential future all-stars, and you're giving me, obviously, potential one of the best players ever, but that's one player. So, at some point, yes, it's way too much. And the only teams that I really think that have the facilities for it are the Padres and Dodgers to meet what the Nationals want. I don't even think the Yankees can, because we don't have a shortstop for the future, and they're gonna want Volpe. And I'm not willing to give up Volpe if we're gonna have to give up a lot of other guys, which I think is inevitable.
To me, I understand why they're asking for it. Like, I'm not going to give up. I understand your point with not giving up too much. I'd probably give up a lot of my top prospects, and like everyone has to be on the table just because it's Juan Soto. And the argument I've been hearing that I agree with is a lot of these guys, you don't know if they're going to pan out. But with Juan Soto, you know he's already panned out. He's got a World Series ring. And even if you don't re-sign him, I think you should totally go for it, because you will have 3 postseason runs with Juan Soto. So if you're a team where you think your window is right now in the next 3 years, you should, in my opinion, you should definitely go for the Juan Soto trade.
But they're already comparing Volpe to some of the best shortstops ever. And here's the thing: like, again, if you do all and just say Jason Dominguez, whose literal nickname is the Martian, and he has played very well, and you trade out all these other guys, like that's in your entire future you're giving up for a guy that you may not resign. And then your your minor league system is terrible if Soto leaves. Terrible. And you're just stuck. It makes it to where you have to win, and if you don't, you just wasted a decade of development.
Yeah, I see your point, but to me, I'm willing to make it because you're just pushing all in. So with the Padres, I think they should totally do it, because why not? They've already gone all in before. Like, your window is 2 to 3 years. I understand why the Dodgers could do it. I understand why the Yankees would do it. I feel if the Yankees do it, they don't re-sign Judge in the offseason.
Judge is better than Soto. So I don't necessarily know about that, because Judge is better defensively. I understand Soto is one of the
Yes.
best hitters, and Soto is he's a fine defender. He's not like below average, but Judge is worlds above Soto
But
defensively.
who would you take? Judge for the next 8 or 9 years, or Soto for the next 8 or 9 years?
That's not the discussion. It's not
No, but
Soto for the next 8 or
that's
9
how
years.
I view how the Yankees would view it. If you trade for Soto, then you try to extend him for a similar, maybe more years than you would extend
But you
Judge.
try. Judge has been
I
with
don't
the
think I don't think this is the Yankees of the old where they're just going to spend as much money as they can. I think Brian Cashman, if he makes the trade for Soto, is going to say it would almost to me say, we'll try to sign Aaron Judge, but Aaron Judge will probably leave and we'll pay Soto.
I'd be against it.
Well,
If
yeah.
we have to give up too much again, I'd be against it because at that point you're giving away your entire future, and if you don't win within those 3 years, you're in a terrible spot.
Yeah, so that's the difficulty with like the Yankees. To me, I don't want the Yankees or the Dodgers to get Soto because that's just annoying. I know the Cardinals are interested. I think the Padres definitely do it, but the Cardinals would be interesting because they have the players. It's just, are you willing to part with the players? And to me, their window is the next 3 years. So why not go trade for Soto?
I hear it, but you can't give away your entire future for one player. I understand they're not necessarily proven, but they're not ranked so highly because they're terrible. So
But like, if you're looking at top ranked prospects, um, one top ranked prospect who was number one prospect in the world, or was Jurickson Profar. That didn't pan out when he was the
but there's
top
players
prospect.
in the 20th round who become insane.
That's true. But to me, it's almost like you are banking on the potential of these players. Yes, a lot of people agree that they're going to be great,
But
but
Kevin, what you don't understand is that you don't have one dice roll. You have 6 or 7 dice rolls to get
if they all
one.
pan out, you get one or two out of those. Will that equal Juan
Yes,
Soto?
if you get 2 All-Star
One
players,
of those. One
not
of those
one of
would
them, but
equal
you
Juan
said
Soto.
two. Two is better
One or
than
two,
one.
but are they going to equal Juan Soto's value
Yes.
right now?
Yeah. Not.
I would disagree.
I 2 All-Stars is better than one MVP.
But if
One MVP
you're
can't get.
already adding him to
Here's
a
my
team
point.
right now,
Mike Trout is not carrying the Angels by himself, even before Shohei.
that's true. But if we're talking about the Yankees right now for this 1 year, or the Cardinals, they trade away the farm system. You add in, you got Goldschmidt,
The
Arenado,
difference is with
Soto.
the Cardinals is they're on their last leg. If they don't win this year, they lose Wainwright, who is still a really good pitcher this year. They lose their backstop Molina. They're going to lose a lot of guys in free agency potentially. This is their year. The Yankees, on the other hand, have young guys like Torres who are playing out of their mind. You
There
have
are
young
other
guys like
teams than the
Volpe.
Yankees, though.
Say again.
There are other teams that I'm considering other
You
than the
three
Yankees.
three of the teams you just mentioned are just like the Yankees.
What about the
Or I get
Mets?
the Mets are just the Mets have more in their money than the Yankees. They spend more for their players right
No,
now.
but still, I'm not talking about money. We've talked about the Yankees. I want to talk about other teams and why they should be able to do it. You're out on the Yankees. With the Yankees,
I'm
we've
out
already
on
talked about
every
that.
team that has to give up a substantial amount of prospects. I would want the Mets to pick them up if they're giving up their entire future.
You wouldn't want the Mets to do it.
If I was a Mets fan, no. As a Yankee fan, sure, I'm not against it. If they're giving up their entire future for one guy, again, you don't have one dice roll with a high prospect. You have 7. If you give up 7 players, 7 different dice rolls. And like I said, 2 All-Stars is better than one MVP in my opinion in baseball because it's not like LeBron where LeBron can pass you the ball. No, when you hit, you are by yourself. And 2 All-Star hitters is better than one MVP because you only get 4 at bats per game and 8 at bats by 2 All-Stars combined instead of 4 at bats by one MVP. I'm
I
taking
see
the 8
your
at
math
bats.
on the future, but I'm talking about if you add them to the Mets right now, you already have Scherzer under contract for 2 more years. You have hitters like Alonso. You have Starling Marte. There are other people there, and you're adding them to the team right now. Your future, yes, you're bargaining your future, but to me, it just makes sense. Like I see the argument with giving up. You would have to give up a lot. I'd try to keep some people if I could, but then you'd have. I would say, okay, I got 3 years to rebuild my
Let me
system.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. What is too much?
Okay, I'll take it in. Too much is like if you're going through, let's say, your top 10 prospects, if they ask for like 4 or 5 of those, I'll probably go, no, I'll give you 2, maybe 3, and then like some of my lower prospects, I'll throw in 2 there.
Mm-hmm.
So like my top prospects, those are the guys I'm really high on. I'll I'll give you probably 2 of those, and then 3 of like prospects
That's
in the
not what they're
middle of my
asking
top
for, though.
30.
They're asking for 125% of Soto's value. They're probably asking for 4 or 5 top 10 prospects,
They're
at
probably
least.
asking for, but if I think if they end up with 3, that's a good thing for them, and they get like 2 prospects, not in the main top, but in the bottom.
From
If that
all the
makes
mock
sense.
trades I've seen, and I know those aren't always reliable, they have like 6 or 7 prospects, plus maybe some already players on the team.
Yeah, I wouldn't give up that much, but I think there will be a big deal. But I don't think it like they're asking a lot because they know it's going to come down. So, but if you gave up,
The let me just say this. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah,
The
you're good.
Nationals are in a win-win scenario. They trade Soto for 125% of his value. If they're like, we're only trading Soto for 125% of value, that's a W trade for them. And the other option is they keep Juan Soto. Win-win scenario. I don't see a way they lose this scenario unless they're asking price. Like if they ask for too little, which they're obviously not by pushing for 125%, and they have no timetable because he's already under contract for a while. So
Only for 3 more years, and they've already tried
only
to extend it.
only is not
With
3 years is a while, Kevin.
but with the team they have now, with the terrible team that they have now,
It doesn't matter. They can just keep Juan Soto.
they've tried to extend him. He said no. They've
Then just
tried to
keep
give
him
him
for
some.
2 more years as his value grows.
What happens if it goes down?
What do you mean? What happens if it
What
goes
happens if he
down?
gets injured in one of
Then
those
why would
years?
you trade for him if you think his value is going to go down?
No, I'm talking. There's a if scenario. Then he'll have 2 years of control. Right now, to me, what makes him so appealing is he's great right now, and he has 3 years of control. And then each year, those years lose. You lose years of control for the amount that you're not going to have to pay him once you extend him. Because his AAV, like I think he's making 15 million right now. His AAV is probably going to be close to 30 million when he gets that new contract.
It'll be more than that if he stays on this trajectory. But I, it's a win-win scenario for the Nationals because their team is getting better. They have guys like Josh Bell who are hitting insane this season. They just need better pitching. Their pitching is atrociously terrible. If they could just sign some guys, 2 deals for pitching, I think they would be okay.
I think there's a lot that they need to get rid of. It seems they a lot they need to improve. I know they have Josh Bell, but it looks like they're trying to trade Josh Bell, and it not looks like they're not going to be able to resign him. So he's gone. Then you have Keibert Ruiz, and then you still have Juan Soto. But then we're at the option where this is the where if you trade a lot of your future, you're at Juan Soto. You just have Juan Soto, and that's what the Nationals seem to have right now because they just seem to have no direction right now. I can look at the top prospects, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them are not listed, or a lot of the top
Well,
prospects
they
are
have a
not.
good bit of top prospects. They have Jonah Gray. They have Keibert Ruiz, who are both pretty good. I know they have a third baseman. I think that's going to be pretty good.
I'm
Not
looking at the top 100 MLB.com. I'm now okay. I just got Cade Cavalli, and he's 45. I believe that's the first Nationals player I saw.
well, because the reason why they don't have some of these players listed as prospects is because they're so bad. They're playing them. So instead of playing in the minors, they're playing in the majors. Jonah Gray, Keibert Ruiz, the third baseman guy that I can't remember his name. They've called a lot of their guys up. If they can just improve pitching wise in free agency or otherwise, they'll be fine.
To me, I understand why they're trying to trade Soto. I think the best thing would try to extend him and try to pay him more, but it seems like ownership doesn't want to pay him more than the amount they offered.
Well, they offered
So,
him an insane amount, so I don't necessarily
well, yeah,
blame ownership. They were literally offering him one of the biggest deals like ever. I think they actually offered him the
it was
largest contract in
440.
MLB history. Yeah, they did. The largest contract was like 400 million. They're offering like 440, and he declined it. And I was like, oh yeah, that's an O.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'm interested. I'm a little surprised that you and I disagreed on this.
Well, it's just the fact that I don't think that it's worth the amount of prospects they're asking for.
Like, I think if you get it down to maybe 3 of your top
You're not
10
going to get it
prospects,
down. I don't think they're going to accept because they have control. They're not pressured, Kevin. They're not. As much
I
as you
feel they
think
could
the
easily
value is
record
not
him.
going to decrease. It's not going to decrease. It's not because he's getting better. He's a very
Then
young
I'll
player.
probably give him 4 top 10 prospects, and then maybe that I'm one that is playing right now, so they could play now, and then maybe one bottom of my middle of my top 30, and that'll say I'm good.
The problem is we don't necessarily know exactly what they're asking for, and that would really make or break the deal for me. And from what I've read from Jeff Passan and others, it doesn't seem reasonable.
I understand what they're saying. I think they compared it to like the Miguel Cabrera. Like it's similar, but this one's greater. Where those prospects didn't really work out too, and then it's very similar to the Mookie Betts trade that happened with the Dodgers, which worked out for the Dodgers, and it's still to be seen what the Boston Red Sox what their returns are. But I think we can end it. Or you got any final thought?
I'm all good.
All right. That's it. Let us know what you think, and we appreciate you listening. Make sure to check out our interviews as we did a couple of those. Thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.